We just had our biggest snowfall here in Colorado, and I still need to go harvest my garden. But fortunately, my garden's in here. Let's go walk down and take a look. This summer, we just finished construction on our off-grid garden dome, and so far it's been worth every penny. Oh, the cat wants to see what's in here too. Whoa! So this is what December looks like in our garden dome. The greenhouse is a dome comprised of an outer raised bed along the exterior wall, which houses succulents on the southwest side and garden veggies on the other end. There's also a large center bed, which holds our palm tree and dwarf citrus trees, and a variety of flowers, which I grow to make dried flower artwork. And there's a raised bed on the other side of the door, which I call the berry patch because it holds raspberry, blackberry, and strawberry plants, and our critical water spigot. On the north side of our dome is our 3,000-gallon pond, which acts primarily as a thermal bath, but at the moment it has goldfish and koi and a few pond plants. We might delve into aquaponics down the road as we begin to understand the system better, and it does take up quite a bit of room, so we plan to build a deck over the top of it to reclaim some of the space for relaxing, maybe yoga, meditation, or a reading nook in the future. Stay tuned. The center of the dome is 16 feet tall, and we have a fig tree and a cherry tree, very small, in the center of the dome, but they do have room to grow upwards. We chose a dome specifically because of its shape and strength. It's really the perfect building to resist the snow and wind loads that we get here in the mountains. The design includes an indoor pond, which helps act as a thermal mass to help regulate swings in temperatures day to night and season to season. This dome is built with triple-layer polycarbonate, which is also quite sturdy and more insulating than glass. And we even went one step further because of our wintry climate, and that was to pour a 6-foot foundation built with insulated concrete forms and install an underground climate battery, which is essentially an air exchange that can cycle hot air of the day into the ground at night and then passively heat the dome overnight or when the temperatures drop. It can also work in reverse by using the ground to sort of cool that hot summer air that can cycle through the dome throughout the summer. And today, well, the results are beyond my expectations. Citrus trees, tons of flowers blooming, maybe one fruit that could be ready to pick. But what's over here is what needs my attention today. And that is the rest of our summer garden. I've got beets, greens, arugula, kale. It's a lot of plants you'd associate with a cold weather garden, but also we're still growing hot weather plants like basil, tomatoes, and peppers. I'm going to harvest these today because I don't anticipate much more growth now that the daytime dome temperatures have dropped below 70 pretty much, and the daylight hours are so reduced. Now, I did get a little eager last month for planting cool weather garden, and I started some herbs from seed, some green beans, peas, lettuce, and spinach, but these really haven't grown a ton, I'm pretty sure, due to the short daylight hours. We're just a couple of weeks away from the shortest day of the year, so I'm tempted to add a grow light to see what might happen next. But for today, let me go ahead and finally harvest the last of these beets. Probably my greatest vegetable triumph in the dome. They were grown from seed and they produced wonderful greens, which I harvested multiple times before picking the beets. I'm definitely down for growing more root veggies in the dome, and I'm sure it helped that we used good soil to fill the beds. It was a 50-50 compost blend from A1 Organics. Now, the arugula has a funny story. I timed it just right for planting in the dome, but actually it came from outdoor raised beds near the house. All of the plants had self-seeded from earlier in the summer and were coming up in the fall, so I decided to transplant all the little seedlings into the dome to avoid frost. And well, look at them now, practically monster shrubs after just 6 weeks. Wow, that was a lot of arugula. Definitely needed some harvesting. So probably not going to eat that much salad, but I'm going to cook down a lot of it and freeze it and have it for meals later. One question we get is, why go through all the trouble of a greenhouse in the mountains just for tomatoes when you can buy them at the store? And believe me, I've tried and tried to grow tomatoes here. In fact, here's an actual photo of my tomato harvest from 2023, a single dwarf tomato. We just don't have the right conditions here in Zone 4B. On top of that, since our elevation is over 9,300 feet, our plants grown outside tend to go to seed and bolt quickly, and they become dwarfed by the strong rays of the sun. Shade cloth is a must if you want to grow anything up here, and that has its downsides as well. But with raised beds outside, you always have to watch out for the wildlife helping themselves. And the biggest thing about our location is the sudden swings in temperature. Here, we're rushing to cover our garden bed the weekend before Labor Day because it was supposed to snow. And now here I am harvesting tomatoes in December while it's snowing outside. It's hard to believe it's real sometimes, but I'm never taking a homegrown tomato for granted again. We've definitely talked about the idea of the dome as a means for self-sufficiency, to be able to grow more of the food that we eat. And it becomes especially important when you think about all of the pesticide, herbicide residues in our produce, the chemicals in processed food, the hormones, the contamination of the food industry, and the cost of groceries that keeps going up. And on top of that, homegrown food just tastes better. It retains more nutrients because you don't have to deal with all the shipping time and the processing. That's all cut out. Imagine being able to grow everything you eat on your own land, even living at 9,000 feet in the mountains. It's really a dream come true for us. But building a garden dome is more than just about being able to grow all of our own produce. For us, it's also an escape during the long winter to a tropical, lush oasis filled with color and flowers and plants. And it has potential for even more than that, as a fun event space, a place to hang out, gathering community. We actually had our Thanksgiving meal in there with some friends, and I've already taught a few art classes in the dome. And I just see this expanding as people hear about the garden dome, they hear about the oasis, they want to come see it, especially in the wintertime. It's just a fun, novel, exciting thing to experience. For us, it's more than just an expensive garden. It's really a full backyard retreat. And that wraps up the harvest for December. Beets, squash that was curing, tomatoes and peppers, and a ton of basil and arugula. And I hope you'll stay tuned to see what else we can do with this solar-powered dome. It's our very first season, and we're excited for possible hydroponics, mushroom cultivation, medicinal plants, and possibly a wellness retreat. We're just getting started.
Whew. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe this harvest. And I mean, squashes, beets, an entire bag of greens, and tomatoes in December. But I have to say, it's freezing and I forgot my gloves, so time to go back up to the house and do some cooking today in the kitchen. Guys, see if we can grow anything else this winter. Follow us along. We'll see you in the next video.